We have reached a framework to implement the Geneva Consensus.
The United States and China have announced an agreement in principle on a framework aimed at easing trade tensions between the two largest global economies. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick stated that the agreement should help alleviate restrictions on rare earth minerals and magnets.
Do absolutely expect that the topic of rare earth minerals and magnets with respect to the United States of America will be resolved in this framework implementation. That is a fundamental part of that.
Officials from both countries stated that the proposal would now be presented to Presidents Donald Trump and Xi Jinping for final approval. The announcement followed 2 days of high-level talks in London between representatives from Beijing and Washington. One of the key issues discussed was China's export of rare earth minerals, which are vital for producing modern technologies. Last month, the two nations agreed to a temporary truce on trade tariffs, but each side later accused the other of violating the terms. The U.S. has criticized China for delaying the export of rare earth metals and magnets, which are essential for products such as smartphones and electric vehicles. In response, Washington has placed restrictions on Beijing's access to American-made goods, including semiconductors and technologies related to artificial intelligence. We have reached a framework to implement the Geneva Consensus, Lutnick told reporters.
We have reached a framework to implement the Geneva Consensus and the call between the two presidents, right? So that was on June 5th.
The latest talks followed a phone conversation between President Trump and President Xi Jinping last week, which Trump described as a very good talk. China's Vice Commerce Minister Li Chenggang confirmed that both sides had reached a framework based on the consensus from the phone call and previous Geneva discussions. Earlier this year, the U.S. imposed sweeping tariffs on imports from several countries, with China being the most affected. Talks held in May in Switzerland resulted in a temporary truce that Trump described as a total reset. The agreement reduced U.S. tariffs on Chinese goods to 30%, while China cut its tariffs on U.S. imports to 10% and pledged to ease restrictions on critical mineral exports. Ahead of this week's negotiations, China's Ministry of Commerce said it had approved some applications for rare earth export licenses, though it did not specify which countries would benefit.